We're back with another Will My Fave Make roster. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Justice, giving you all my verdicts and views about women's basketball. And today, Chicago Sky, you guys are on the clock. I actually don't know where to start when it comes to Chicago. During the offseason, issues with the building's not getting built, then, ownership's getting sued, and just a lot. Chicago Sky had a lot going on during the offseason. We're getting closer to free agency, and they make a move when the expansion draft happens. They protected all their picks. Everyone's outraged. I think Jeff is one of the only GMs everybody knows by name. Fast forward, Jeff went ahead and pulled the trigger on something that I think a lot of people saw coming, didn't know if they were actually going to do. They trade Angel Reese. And that completely, sends a lot of people into an uproar because Chi-Town Barbie, but everyone else kind of saw it coming. Everyone thought obviously it was inevitable. Anyway, Angel Reese gets traded, and everyone's kind of at a loss of what do y'all do from here? And I got to give Chicago they ones because, baby, a little bit of money and a little bit of convincing can go a long way. And Jeff kind of did his big one in free agency. I'm not going to hold y'all. It's still the Chicago Sky, but Jeff got in the field when it came to putting together a pretty solid roster. I'm not going to lie. On paper, they could do some things. They could do some things. And that's kind of where we're at with Chicago Sky right now. Let's talk about who's coming to camp. So first, let's look at our vet protected contracts. They picked up some heavy hitters in free agency. Somehow they were able to convince Azare to come back to Chicago. That was shocking. Just historically, again, money can make people start. I can do some convincing that this wouldn't get done before. We're able to sign Skylar Diggins, another huge pickup. Courtney Vandersloot is also on roster. She got signed last year. Remember, blew out her knee. She's still rehabbing her knee. She said there's no timeline of when she'll play in the season, but there's just no timeline of a date to be expecting her back. They re-signed Elizabeth Williams, Dejanay Carrington. Shocked Dejanay signed with the Chicago Sky, but they're able to snag her in free agency as well. And then they re-signed Rachel Banham. So we have 6 players currently on protected contract. So then we're going to go to our rookie scale contracts. On our rookie scale contracts, obviously Camila Cardoso, going to be a very huge piece of the Sky this season. Now, they were able also to pick up Rickea Jackson in a trade. They end up trading Ariel Atkins for Rickea Jackson. Cheat code. Cheat code right there. That takes us to Haley Van Lith and Maddie Westbelt. They were on the team last year. Both played minimum minutes, rookie roles. And then they also picked up JC Sheldon in a trade. So that brings us to 5 players who are on rookie scale contracts. So let's talk about draft night real quickly. The Chicago Sky had 3 picks on draft night, and with the number 5 pick, I think they surprised a lot of people. But they picked up Gabrielle Jaquez from UCLA. Then they picked up Latasha Lattimore, and they picked up Tony Morgan from Kentucky. So honestly, pretty solid draft pickups that I think will ultimately be a part of Chicago Sky in some retrospect in this upcoming season. The Chicago Sky have extended 4 training camp offers to different players. So on training camp contracts, Jordan Hobbs, Megan Nestor, and then they have Sydney Cooks and Sydney Taylor. So let's look at the numbers. As far as predicting what is the Chicago Sky roster going to look like, will my Fave make roster, the whole 9, honestly, when you look at this, it's kind of cut and dry. There's a lot of definite pieces, a little bit of wiggle room, but for the most part, I think we can honestly have a good gauge of what this final roster potentially is going to look like. So when we look at the numbers, again, we'll be here without a shadow of a doubt. We have 6 players. They're all on protected contract. Azare, Skylar, Elizabeth, Courtney, Dejanay, and Rachel. Then on my rookie scale contracts, I'm going to also add in Camila, JC, and Rickea. Camila and Rickea, no brainers. JC, because they traded for her, and with Courtney not coming back immediately, they are looking for somebody to play PG2 behind Skylar, and I think JC will be a good option for them. And that's going to bring our total number to 9. Next player that is a no-brainer is going to be Gabrielle Jaquez. She was drafted as a lottery pick as well. So with the number 5 pick, her roster spot is guaranteed as well. It's a protected contract. So that's going to bring our total to 10. Now that leaves us 2 spots left. Now, this is where we're going to get to what my Fave make roster and where I think there are opportunities for somebody to take somebody's spot or some wiggle room to get your name into a conversation. So let's answer the question we're here for. Will my Fave make roster? When we break this down between guards and posts and we do our whole process of outside looking in the front yard, or uphill battle. When it comes to the guards, I would say outside the door is going to be Hailey Van Lith. I did not put Hailey Van Lith into the definite because had not a rough rookie season, but it's coming off an injury. You never know. If somebody was going to get somebody to get on roster, you're going to have to take Hailey's spot. Then right underneath that, in the front yard, I'm going to put Toni Morgan. Now, and this is just a conversation of getting on roster, but for the developmental spot, I think Toni has a lock. If she isn't able to maneuver into, that, active roster immediately, she definitely will be on the development spot. I mean, I watched Courtney Vandersloot's interview, and she specifically mentioned Toni when they were talking about backup PGs, her return timetable. She mentioned that we do have a great option of a, point guard in Toni Morgan. So that just tells me right then the Chicago Sky has some sort of vision for her. So like I said, if she's not going to be on active roster, she definitely will have one of those development spots. Now, uphill battle is going to be my girls on training camp contracts. One, when you're working, you got odds stacked against you because already you've never been on roster before. This is your first, you're trying to get through a training camp. And these are pretty young, picks as well, as in, drafted in 2025. So odds are stacked against them right now in terms of trying to get a spot. But if they are going to get a spot, they're going to have to take Hailey's spot, essentially. That's going to be Jordan Hobbs and Sydney Taylor. Now let's move on to the post. Kind of the same situation that we said with Hailey. I'm going to throw Maddie in the same category. She has the leg up because she's coming back from being on the team last year, so has the edge in that capacity. But if somebody was trying to get on roster and get that 12th spot, they're going to have to take it from Maddie. So Maddie, when it comes to the post player, she is going to be outside of the door. Then we move on to in the front yard, same conversation that we had with the guards and Toni when it comes to Lattimore. Now, if Lattimore comes into training camp and just is dog walking Maddie out there and it's just, whoa, we can't leave her, that's how she's going to go to active roster. But if that does not happen, again, they picked her in the second round, so obviously they see some sort of, investment potential in her. So does make active roster. I can bet my bottom dollar one of those development spots will be going to her as well. And then that moves us to uphill battle. And that's going to be Megan Nestor and Sydney Cooks. So as you can see, opportunity in this training camp. I like to say anything can happen, baby. If you come out and don't let anybody, especially me, say you can't do this. Again, these videos are just to be transparent about what you're working against. But I do think anything can happen and any dog has its day. I like the Chicago Sky roster. I'm excited to see what it looks like live. Things can look good on paper, but once you go live, it can get a completely different feel. So Chicago Sky, as you can see, hey, I can give respect where respect is due. They did their big one in free agency and be able to pull together, bringing in Sky and Rakia and Azare. These are great pieces. Adding them with Camilla, I have no critique in that capacity. With the facility coming, there are positive things happening in Chicago. They're still Chicago, but I can respect some positive things happening. And yeah, this is definitely a team that I will be excited to see what it looks like when you put it all together.